what I wanted to ask, Vinay, was in terms of the process, not only of Process Street, but your process as a tech entrepreneur. You know, you said you was in the banking industry, you was doing, you know, what you were doing back in the day. There's been a journey for you from where you were to where you are. Just tell us a little bit about that journey.
Sure. I mean, it's been pretty a wild ride, I guess, and it's been something that wasn't really kind of planned or structured from the beginning. But I think one of the main things that I think is really important for entrepreneurs, especially people that are looking to start out, is you don't really, planning up very far in the future is generally not a good idea. In startup land, like when we're going to raise money, like an investor, a VC, doesn't want to know anything that's going to happen after 12 months, maybe 18 months at the most. And if you try and convince him that you know what's going to happen after 18 months, he's going to think you're an idiot and he's not going to give you money because like he knows that nobody knows, right? Like, and so you don't project further in the future than that. And especially in technology, which changes a lot faster, right? But I think that in business, I think that's in general, especially if you're doing online business or even small business, which changes really quickly. I think that it's really important to not get too stuck up on like the long term, like, I need to make this big, long, detailed plan of everything that I'm going to do for the next 10 years. And this is like all our projections and everything that's going to happen because like you don't know what you don't know yet. And once you jump in and you spend 12 months like actually working, day in, day out on your business, you're going to gather all this new data that's going to help you make better decisions that you wouldn't have been able to make when you were sitting there trying to write a business plan before. And I think that like how I've kind of experienced business, and this is actually something that I learned from Richard Branson, who's on your side of the pond.
It sure is, yes. Yeah. I'd like to say he was a friend of mine, but not quite yet.
friend of my dreams. Hang out on Necker Island. No, but his kind of philosophy on business is like the number one rule in business is survival. Yeah. It's not about being like highly profitable. It's not about being highly efficient. It's not about knowing necessarily what's going to happen in 1 month, 3 months, a year, whatever. It's just about surviving. And the huge difference between like being an entrepreneur in survival mode and an employee who's just like working in a company is even if you're not making much money and you're just making enough money to live and you're in survival mode, basically, as you're an entrepreneur, A, you're learning a lot fast, but B, you're now in a position where you can actually capitalize on opportunities that are presented to you. And this is basically what I found happened to me. So I started with a small business. It was a little like niche e-commerce store in Australia. And like, that was never going to make a lot of money. I mean, like it was going to maybe make a little bit of income, 50K, 100K, and that's going to be okay to live. But that wasn't the point. The point was now I'm learning about how to build a business. Now I have employees. Now I have customers. Now I have a list. Now I can network with other people and I have things that I can offer to other businesses and I can start to do swaps and I understand how different things are working. And like all these things start to compound on themselves and they give you opportunity to A, provide more value to other people, which can create stronger partnerships and relationships. And B, you have all this knowledge in your head that you can use to identify opportunities as they come up. And then you have the systems, you have the time, you have the team, you have like all this stuff already built so you can actually execute on those opportunities as they come through. And that's basically what I found was once I got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm running a business, and that was like my first company. It's not making a lot of money, but at least I don't have to work in a job anymore. From there, I started going to conferences, started looking at other opportunities, started testing different ideas and different campaigns and different things, and like things grow on themselves. But like you never have the time and the energy and the resources to do that if you're in a job, right? You come home at the end of the day, you're tired, you don't have any of these things set up, you don't have people that you can just ask to do stuff for you, to test things for you that are already on your payroll. Like you don't have that. And so you're in this really kind of limited, constrained capacity. And so for me, it was always just about surviving and then like preparing myself to capitalize on opportunities as they came. So that means, putting money in the bank, getting systems, freeing up my time on things that I'm currently doing in my business and automating them so that I can test other things and new ideas and build new revenue streams or launch new products and test different things and see how they work. And that's kind of been my kind of MO is survive first, learn as much as you can And then with that, you know, test new things. And if you test enough things and you optimize your tests each time based on what you learn, you're going to hit, right? Like how many companies did Richard Branson start before like he actually hit? He started one, went like this, then down, and he just kept going, just kept going. He didn't make any money. He didn't take a salary for like 5 years or something, right? Yeah. Like, and then boom, like that one hits, right? Like after, you know, 5 years of optimization, then the next one hits, the next one hits. And like, that's when you start growing. But like, if he just took a job for that 5 years, and didn't like learn all that stuff beforehand and didn't get all that data, didn't run all those tests, then he wouldn't have been in a position to be able to capitalize on those future opportunities. He would have not been able to do that. And so that kind of lead up time, I think like a lot of people get scared of it. They think that like, oh, I don't want to quit my job and then like start this company and then like not make much money. And my friends, you know, I think like people like their expectations are too high. Like they shouldn't be thinking, oh, you know, they see all these kind of the ads on the internet and all the products that are on the internet, like get rich quick kind of things. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to quit my job. And then they tell all their friends like, yeah, I'm going to start an internet company. And then they build all this pressure on them. Yeah, I'm going to make millions of dollars, like, you know, in 3 months. And I think it's a really bad way to start. I think like the way that you should start is just say, hey, look, I'm going to go in this and I'm just going to learn for a year. I'm not going to really have like, these wild expectations, because then like if you like, the problem is people set these high expectations. Some people hit them, that's great, maybe you've had a few of them in your show, but like the majority of people don't. The majority of people quit their job, they set these high expectations, they don't hit them, and then they go back to their job, and then that's it, right? Like, and I think that's like a really kind of fast way to fail.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I think also that's the realistic way. You know, like you said, you go on the internet, you see all these, you know, all these pictures on Instagram of Lamborghinis and Bentleys and Phantoms, and you know, people sort of with this promise of success, and people think that's entrepreneurialism. You know, that's being your own boss. However, you know, for those that are actually doing it and those that are in the trenches, really living it, they know that, like you said, it's you know, ups and downs. It's you have a peak. You know, you might have a great month where, you know, you've broke even, you may have even made some profit, and then you may have 2 months where you're scraping by thinking, you know, I might have to start dipping into my reserves. And that's just the reality of it. Like you said, it's survival.